The Illinois Department of Public Health has issued new citations tonight to a Northside nursing home, and it's reviewing all patient deaths there after a CBS 2 Chicago investigation found state inspectors had missed evidence of apparent negligence in some cases.
Pam Zuckman broke this story this week. She's back tonight with more, and we get to hear from an insider this evening.
Yes, we do, David and Tracy. As we've reported, patients at this nursing home are severely disabled, both mentally and physically. And now parents of patients at the home are concerned for their children, including the mother of one boy who is one of the few who can talk. We interviewed him during a weekend visit to his mother's home. Tristan Brown has muscular dystrophy and needs a ventilator to breathe. One night last month, he says his breathing tube got disconnected. Did you have an alarm to push?
I dropped it.
The cord wrapped around his fingers to call a nurse fell off, and he says no one responded to the alarm on his respirator until after he'd passed out.
Well, it's negligent what they did.
Negligent?
Yeah, because
Why negligent?
I could have died.
Now Tristan's mother has complained to the state health department because she's scared for her son's safety.
Because it's a matter of life and death. I could lose my son next time. He might not be so lucky.
And she knows other children have died at Progressive Rehabilitation Institute, known as PRI, like these kids whose families have filed lawsuits charging PRI with negligence that led to their deaths. In Brian Marrero's case, as we previously disclosed, the state cited PRI for failing to provide adequate nursing services the night Brian died last June. Now other deaths, including Romero Wardell, are also being reviewed by the state. Wardell died after Shanika Jackson, who posed as a registered nurse at PRI, allegedly failed to suction his breathing tube.
We are in the process of reviewing all of those deaths with an outside pediatrician that we've contracted to review case by case and to go into them in depth.
As for Shanika Jackson, who used this forged license saying she was a registered nurse to get jobs at PRI and 2 other nursing homes, the state just issued this citation, charging PRI with failing to verify the qualifications of licensed personnel with the Department of Professional Regulation. The state's review of deaths at PRI will be difficult because investigators rely on patient records and staff interviews. But former employees told us that at PRI they were pressured to falsify records and make misleading statements to state health inspectors. For example, this woman says while working at PRI from January of '99 to April of 2000, she was told that when state inspectors come...
Not to say that we were short-staffed, not to say that there was no real activities going on. You can't say that. You're going to get us closed down.
So you were to lie to the Department of Public Health?
Right, and act like everything was beautiful.
And she recalled what happened when she wrote up an incident report on how one patient injured another.
I wrote it as it occurred. However, I was asked by someone to recant it. Do you want to rewrite it? And I said no, and I left it alone.
Such allegations, the state's health director says, will be turned over to the state police.
That's falsification of records. That's criminal. And we believe there ought to be a criminal investigation into that.
We also disclosed that the state has repeatedly cited PRI for failing to provide continuous treatment programs. After a state monitor was sent in, corrections were supposedly made. But just last month, we found children apparently still not getting active treatment when it's scheduled.
We expect the facilities to assure us that when our staff aren't there, that those services are continuing. And if they're not doing it, it's a breach of promise to the children, to their parents and guardians, and finally to the state who's funding that.
The state pays $284 a day for Tristan's care. Although we don't know the details of his care plan, his mother says that should include physical therapy, like massaging and moving his stiffened arms and legs. Tristan recalls it was done at other nursing homes, but not PRI. They aren't doing it?
No, not for me.
Charlotte Cohn, the owner of PRI, has not returned my phone calls. But in court, the nursing home has denied charges in those wrongful death lawsuits. And in response to those state citations, PRI says it has increased staff training and corrected violations. Nonetheless, we've learned the Department of Children and Family Services is making plans to remove the only 2 children that they have in the home from PRI's care. David and Tracy?
All right. Thanks, Pam.